All right, peace and greetings, YouTubers. So welcome to another edition of In the News. First, let me start off with this story that I saw. Because at first I thought it was a joke. I thought it was from The Onion. I didn't know it was a real story and this was legit. So in response to what's been going on in the country as far as, the mass school shootings and the crazy gunmen who keep going everywhere messing up everybody's life. They want to just shoot and spray everybody because they pissed off about some nonsense. There's a school district in Pennsylvania that would like to pretty much arm their students with rocks to throw just in case somebody comes into their classroom with a gun. Again, I just want to make sure y'all heard that correctly. There is a school district in Pennsylvania that has pretty much suggested the idea that all the students get armed with rocks that they can throw at the gunman if the gunman comes in the classroom. Because, rocks are, they're just so much more precise and everything else in comparison to bullets that are being shot at freaking 800 miles an hour. Rocks will take care of it. And so I'm like, who thought of this? Like, somebody literally thought, we can go down to the riverbed, because they're going to go to the riverbed to get these rocks. These are going to be some of the best rocks that you can get. And the idea is, go onto the riverbed, they're going to collect the rocks, and every classroom will get a bucket of rocks. And each student will at least have one rock. And pretty much, the students are sitting in the classroom, and a person comes in with the gun, or the Glock, or the AR-15, or whatever, and, nobody move, and it's, the teacher's like, code 6, and all the students just get rocks and... I just want to know who thought of that. I want to know what overpaid person working at them high-rise offices somewhere downtown, wherever that county is, who thought of that? If that isn't one of the dumbest things I've heard, first of all, I have a million questions with that. Because first of all, I was trying to put myself in that situation like if I was in that classroom. The reason that doesn't work, first of all, is because there's always going to be one person to mess it up. What if you're the person to throw the rock but you miss? I'm not trying to make a joke out of this, but seriously, what if you're that person who tries to be a hero and tries to throw that rock and miss? Okay, you don't know what that does for the larger situation. This makes me think, I think back to that situation in Atlanta where that guy came into the school and he never even shot and killed anybody. He just barricaded himself in the office with the black lady. They made a movie about it on Lifetime with Tony Braxton. He never went and shot anybody. He was more so dealing with some crazy stuff, and he just wanted to be heard. And so, what if there's a situation where there's a gunman that comes into one of these classes with these students, and he's just like, he or she is just like, nobody move, I don't want to hurt anybody, I just, blah, blah, and they're sitting here walking around with their gun, and then you got that one student that just has to be a hero. He done snuck all the way to the back, to that bucket. He done got the best stone he could get, and misses. What do you think is going to happen to everybody in that classroom? If that person is already mentally unstable, they're like, you know what? I gave y'all a chance. I told all y'all just sit down and be still. Now I got to kill 10 of y'all. And it'd be just my luck if I was a student. I'd be in that classroom like, damn, and he'd probably pick me to shoot. The way I would beat him down when we get to the pearly gates, but you know what this makes me think of? Actually, I'll come back to that because we're going to visit the classroom for one quick second. But you know what? I think that's a horrible idea. And I'm just thinking, why are we putting the burden of safety on the students? That makes absolutely no sense. Now, I don't have solutions on what actually could work within the classrooms, but my thing is this. There's 330 million people in this country. Somebody around here has the answer. So we need to find who that person is because it's clearly not anybody in Congress or in these state and local governments either. So everybody go on a search and a mission, figure out how you can have kids be safer in the classrooms and everybody else be safer in society without having to worry about becoming collateral in some kind of mass shooting or bombing or anything else like that. Absolutely crazy. And you know what this makes me think of? And this is so left field and has nothing to do with the story, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Remember the movie Saw, where there was that scene, I think it's one of the first scenes, and the two guys are chained their feet are chained to the wall. And the only way that they can get out of this room is either they have to kill the other person in the room or they have to cut their foot off to break the little chain off their foot. That just made me think, because I just know that if I was one of those students, my throwing sucks. I suck at throwing. I have a really strong left arm, but everything goes straight to the right. Even when I'm at work and my kids and maybe we're doing dodgeball or something and I decide to play with the kids, they already know Mr. Michael, even if he's in the game, it's not going to matter. He's not going to hit none of us, so don't worry about it. But I'm just picturing, I think back to that movie Saw, and the guy had told him, the only way that you'll get out is either you kill the person across from you or you cut your own foot off. And so the other guy, talking all his trash, hey man, throw me that saw, because there was a saw in the middle of the room. And so I just kept thinking, if I was that other guy who just, the dude just said all the trash, the way I would have had that saw. Okay, but anyway, back to my point. So, I just think it's a stupid idea to do... That makes no sense to me. Between that and Rick Santorum talking about the students need to learn CPR, I just was like, Okay, now you want the first graders to learn CPR too. So you got to go to school. You're in first grade. You're going there to color your little picture and eat your little Lunchables and your Capri Sun. But you also need to be equipped with the tools to know how to be a Mortal Kombat fighter and a Power Ranger and know MMA and everything else and know how to box. And you also need to know first aid. All that in first grade. Mind you, half of them can't even count and subtract yet. But you want, well, some they should by first grade. But still, you want them to do all that and fight and know CPR. Like, I can't. But you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of that woman in the state of Florida. It's always Florida. I told you, always Florida, Arizona, and Washington State. But there was a woman in Florida. Well, actually, let me talk about the guy. There's like this clip, and I know some of you have had to see this before. Like, it's this clip. There's this guy, his wife gets fired because the school district, I guess they're doing budget cuts. They do some layoffs, and this guy's wife gets laid off. And she was a teacher at the school. So he shows up to the school board meeting. You know, they're having their meeting, and, you know, and the budget is this and the deficit, and we're going to blah, 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 blah. And so out of nowhere, this guy comes in there with some spray paint, starts spraying a big old circle on the wall, then he pulls out a gun. And pretty much, that's the setup. Let me get into why that idea with the rocks doesn't work, because when I think of the rocks, I think of this woman. So let's go take a field trip to the classroom real quick. This is the scenario again. So as you can see, there's the guy. At this point, he's pulled out the gun. This is the school board. Let's just all watch for 1 second. I'm going to give a little bit of commentary as we watch. All right. Now, you see he's letting people get out. You know, y'all can go. It's good. You can go. Look, Rebecca was getting her stuff. All right, I'm out. Cool. Rebecca was going straight to her van. She was out of there, going straight to Starbucks. So anyway, right here, look. Now look at this girl on the right. Pause. You already know this isn't going to go well. You already know this isn't going to go well. One, she already has her whole body positioned in the wrong way. And so she's under the impression that she's going to hit this guy and somehow he's going to pass out. Let's just keep watching. Pause. She wanted to be a hero. Wanted to be a hero. When trying to be a hero goes wrong. So she swings, misses. It's not like she was throwing anything. She literally had a purse. All she had to do was knock the guy in the head. She couldn't even do that correctly. Let's keep watching. No, Ginger. No, Ginger. Listen, even the school board knew, like, Ginger, no, just Ginger, stop. So you want to be a hero, and then you're going to go over there and try to hit somebody. Then you miss. And then she just gave up on life. Can we go back? Let me backtrack. We have to go back to her response when she realized she messed up. All the hero went out the window. She went back to the woe is me, please save me, I'm the fragile woman kind of thing. Like watch. No, she done got to screaming and wailing on the floor and everything else, just gave up on life. She was ready to die right then and there. But then this is the funny part. Ginger, get up, Ginger. Goddamn sense. They let Ginger go. All right? They were like, Ginger, just get out. But pretty much, Ginger could have got everybody in that room killed trying to be a hero. Like, he really just wanted to talk business with them people at the board who fired his wife, and she wants to come back in and try to be a hero. But the part that gets me is the purse literally has nothing in it. It's empty. What were you planning to do? It's not like she had a brick in there. All she had was some spearmint and a wallet. Even if you hit the guy, did you think he was going to pass out? Ginger, you know what? Silly kids. Anyway, let's move on. Ginger, she knew she was going to be a hero. She just knew she was getting the key to the city that day. Anyway, let's move on to your current president and the Stormy Daniels situation. So there was the 60 Minutes interview that aired tonight, and, you know, Stormy Daniels is one of the many women who Donald Trump has slept with. And she did her interview just talking about their relationship. And really, for me, I don't really care, to be honest. Like, at this point, Donald Trump has showed us all who he is. I don't understand why we keep trying to be shocked every time a new story comes out. Donald Trump's presidency is like a soap opera. You know how, like, soap operas, they have a really intense storyline every single day, every single episode? That's his presidency. So at this point, I don't think there's anything left he can do that has me shocked. I just look back at everything and just laugh for my own sanity. Everything is just funny to me, just so I can sleep good at night. Because a lot of people are really stressing out about this guy and crying at night, and some people are in therapy, and I'm like, y'all doing too much. You're doing too much. Like, at this point, Donald Trump's downfall will be himself. So I'm not really worried about what's going on. Do I think this is going to lead to an impeachment? Probably not, unless they can somehow prove that $130,000 that they paid the woman to keep quiet came out of campaign funds that were raised from donors and everything else like that. Maybe that might lead to an impeachment proceeding. But then you also have to think, even if he goes before impeachment, unless the GOP votes to get rid of him, he's still going to be there. And just imagine if they tried to impeach this man and they didn't, and he came back and won. He's coming back with a vengeance, and he's going to make things even worse. Vengeance for real. And so I don't know if maybe that's why they're really trying to count on, November, the midterms, and maybe, if the Democratic Party can get the majority or something like that, I guess maybe that gets them excited about what's going on with Mueller's investigation. But I honestly, I don't know. With Donald Trump, whatever. But I tell you what, it's interesting. Go ahead, Mr. President. I was hearing about them details about what he was doing. He likes to be spanked with the magazine. I said, all right, Mr. President. I know Melania is at home pissed off, like, you never wanted to do that with me. Like, I know she's probably pissed the hell off. Like, you doing all this with all these trips, you don't even do that with me. You done made me go and get this facelift. I done had to get these breast implants and do all this stuff. And you want to go get Stormy Daniels, and you see what she looks like in comparison to me. Like, I know Melania's pissed off. And what else did he do? Then he was sleeping with the woman, wasn't even using protection. I'm like, man, I'm sorry. No disrespect to anybody who works in the adult film industry. I don't think I'm going to sleep with anybody in the adult film industry unprotected. Just because. I know they usually get tested a lot, and I'm sure that there's a lot of really like safe measures and stuff when they're doing their job. But I just don't think I would want to raw dog that. I just think of all the things that may happen. I just think of waking up at 4 a.m. and it hurting to pee. And I can't. Sorry. So I would like to be a fly on the wall in the Trump house right now. I know Melania is about sick of his shit. And she probably cussed him out in all 5 languages that she speaks. And I would almost feel bad for her, but then I remember she was one of the main people doing the same thing with the birther movement. Trump, well, why can't he show his birth certificate? Oh, okay, Melania, you want to... All right, which you aren't exempt from critique either then. So I would like to be a fly on the wall in their house. I know they cussing each other out. Between that, and I think Ben Carson's wife is probably cussing him out right now too, because he threw her under the bus and was like, yo, it wasn't me that bought the table. She picked it out. Like, I can imagine that argument because like I said in the last video, he talks 3 words a minute. So it's not like he can win an argument because all you got to do is just talk over him and talk fast and talk loud. And so I can imagine that argument when he's in the car. She's probably cussing him out. And you going to sit there and tell all them people that I bought that table when you know good and well. Honey, I was thinking of the fact. No, you don't go and say, like, I can just see her going off. And that's an argument there. Between that, and I bet Barack and Michelle used to have some good arguments too. Because I feel like if Michelle's anything like some of the exes I had in the past, I can imagine sometimes they would go, when we have arguments, they would like take any accomplishment you ever had and make it this big just to make you feel small. Kind of like Regina King's character in Poetic Justice when she was like, go ahead, brush that weak ass fade. You ain't got waves. You ain't buff. You think you all that because you work out? Like, she just went down the line on everything that sucked with him. And I can imagine Michelle and Barack sometimes, like, in the car having an argument. You know what, Michelle? What, Barack? Oh, my bad. Should I say Barry? Because that's what you let your friends call you. You think you all that just because you're the president? Anybody give a fuck about you being no goddamn motherfucking president? They don't even like you. Barely got healthcare passed. And it ain't even the bill that you wanted to put out in the first place. Talk about you get things done. Shh. Like, I can just imagine the arguments they have. You got this damn dog. We didn't want no damn dog. Like, and then her mama live in the house too, and then the mama come in and tag team. I don't know. I'm being silly. But anyway, yes, that would be very interesting. Moving on. I want to get something more serious. So I didn't really get a chance to talk about this Austin, Texas bomber. I really want to do a specific video separate from that. And before I could even get to the video, the man had already killed himself, and it was a wrap. I will say this. The issue I have, in addition to the fact that he went and he blew up all these poor people, like especially that kid, that 17-year-old kid that died, that's absolutely terrible. It's sad that people always have to be collateral for somebody else's nonsense. You know what I mean? Absolutely crazy. Like, my thing is this. If you are that miserable, if you hate your life and you hate everything else, I'm not telling you to jump off the bridge by yourself, but if you're going to jump off the bridge, don't pull the rest of us down into that nonsense. Why do I need to die because you pissed off? I don't even know you. Like, goodness, maybe you might have felt better if you subscribed to my channel. I could have gave you some life advice. But the thing is just, what really, really got me is the media, again, tried to humanize this guy and try to give a sob story, try to get us to feel bad because, make us feel bad for this guy because he went out and he set up these bombs and killed innocent people. Stuff like that pisses me off because they only do that with a certain kind of person. They never do that with anybody else. When it comes to these people who do these mass shootings or these bombings or anything that's out of pocket, whenever it is a white male, they will go and they will try to make that person so humanized. Oh, they came from a broken family and they blah, 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 blah. And so with this guy, it was, he came from a godly family. I was like, a godly family? Yeah. First of all, y'all need to redefine the definition of godly because Donald Trump claims he's that as well. And you see what's going on with him. And the evangelical base of his, is aligned with everything that he has going because they believe that Jesus is back in the White House. I remember seeing, was that Paula, what's her name, Paula White? Wasn't that her that posted that the day Trump was elected? Jesus is back in the White House. I said, really? Oh, y'all about to find out? Y'all about to really see who Jesus is then? Anyway, but like I said, just it drives me crazy that they will go and try to humanize these people. So I saw all these articles about this guy, and he was this, and he had a really tough life. He was really frustrated with life. He left a 25-minute confession. My thing is this, I'm sorry. Pretty much everybody in this country has a crappy life if we really think about it. If you take, everybody's life is what you make it, you know what I mean? Like some people get a really crappy deck of cards. Some people get better ones. And really it's all about how people process the situation that they're in. And so you can't use having a tough upbringing to justify going and blowing up random people that you don't even know. You know what? Because it's one thing to go and you act on impulse and you pulled out a gun and shot somebody on sight just randomly because you just lost your mind a day. But the fact that you go to the store, you get all these materials to build a bomb. Mind you, you probably had to go on YouTube or wherever else to research how to build a freaking bomb. Go on all these different forums because I'm sure, what did they say? He posted on that Fortune.net or Chipmunk, all the little racist sites they have, because those sites are crazy. I tell you, by the way, every time I have a video that deals with anything with race or politics, I swear every single time, my videos find a way on that site and then people come and just flood my channel. And I'm all kind of coons and monkeys and apes and my mom's a crackhead. And they always talk about these books behind me like, well, maybe you should actually read one of those books, you dumb monkey. Oh, I forgot. You can't read because your mom's a crackhead and you were born from heroin. I'm just like, okay. Anyway, so I'm just like, stop trying to humanize these people. Like, y'all don't do that with black people who get killed by the police when they're unarmed. You know what I mean? It's absolutely crazy. Like, every time I see, whether it was Mike Brown, what really got me was when Tamir Rice got killed by the police when he was 12. And I saw people try to, he was a troubled student, he misbehaved in class, he did this, he did that. Same thing with Trayvon Martin. They tried to make Trayvon Martin racist because he said there was the crazy white dude following him. Oh, he was also racist. And he smoked. And I'm like, yeah, because THC really makes you aggressive these days. Right. And so that's really what's been getting on my nerves, like with this Austin shooter, or the bomber. He's going out of his way. He went to this store, found supplies, figured out how to build a bomb, created a bomb, went to UPS after he packaged the bomb, or FedEx or wherever, shipped these things off, or put them in the mail, and let people die. And he did this over the course of a few days. So that, to me, is not somebody who's frustrated with life. That's somebody who just doesn't know how to process that things don't always go their way because they've been too damn privileged their whole life. Sorry, and privilege, again, people, is not always about money and finance, okay? Get out of that bubble, because I know somebody's going to show up with the pull yourself up by the bootstrap lecture, and this is not even that kind of conversation. And so that's my issue. It's just, I wish the media would stop trying to humanize people when they do these atrocious things, because they didn't do this with the DC sniper shooter. They couldn't wait to call him crazy, all right? They didn't do this with some of these other, when that dude, what was his last name? Chris Dorner? The dude in California, when he wrote that manifesto and went and started shooting all the people in California, and then the police went and shot the wrong people looking for him. There was none of that. There was, and then they set him on fire inside of the cabin. There was no trying to pull his life together and figure out, well, what made him lose his mind and go and shoot up all these people? None of that. He's just crazy, lunatic, violent. It's just in his bloodline. So that was the issue I have with that. And on a more serious note, the situation with Stephon Clark, I really want to do a video on this by itself. For me, there's so many of these situations that happen. I really don't like doing these kind of videos. So I said I would still mention this in this video for now. Again, if you're unfamiliar with the Stephon Clark situation, there's a guy who was killed in his own backyard, shot 20 times by the police because they thought he had a gun. Really, from what I read, I keep seeing that he had a cell phone, and then I keep seeing he had a toolbar or a crowbar. I don't know which one it is, but none of those things can stop a bullet. So I don't know why 20 bullets need to be fired into this man. And I understand that it was dark outside and maybe they couldn't see, but the issue that we keep seeing all the time is you have these trigger-happy police. And every single time something happens, all it takes is one of them to be fearful about their lives, and then it's just spray season. And so for you to shoot this man 20 times, literally 20 times, he didn't lunge at you, he didn't do anything, he was trying to get on the ground, and you took him out. It's on video. The video is very disturbing to watch. And then what's fishy is that some of the police officers, their body cams were muted, so you don't even hear the dialogue of what's going on. I'm just like, do better. It's so exhausting, and it's so sad. This man has kids. And there's going to be people who will comment on this video who are not subscribed, who are going to come and say the same thing. Oh, he was a thug. He was this, blah, 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 blah. They do it every single time. They will justify why a random person can be unarmed and get killed by the police and why it made sense. They do it every single time. He should have just done this. He should have just done that. There's no excuse for it. It's absolutely ridiculous. And what's scary is because you have this current Department of Justice that is currently being led by a freaking bigot, You can't even, go to the Department of Justice if things don't work out locally within the, the judicial system. And so, we can already say what's going to happen. Those police are going to get off. There's going to be all these, distorted stories about what happened and everything else like that. And those police officers will get off. They'll probably all keep their jobs. One of them would be promoted. They might move a few of them to a different precinct or a different department. But it's like it just goes on. And so we're always collateral for a lot of nonsense. The fact that people are so afraid of black people that just us existing is a threat, is a problem. And that's the black experience for a lot of people. When people try to explain that to others, they always try to shut that down. My existence is a threat to somebody, especially because I know what the hell I'm talking about, especially because I can pretty much say what I need to say and be assertive about certain things where people don't think we know or don't have knowledge on certain things. Like, something like that is already a threat, okay? And so, it's a lot. But I feel really bad for their family. It's tough. I'm telling you, it's going to be to the point they're going to start shooting us while we're already in the casket, because somebody's going to have rigor mortis and their arm is going to pop up. And they're going to start shooting them in the casket too. Oh, I just wanted to make sure we got them. Like what kind of Cleo from Set It Off massacre was that? 20 shots? I'm sure after 2 or 3, didn't you just check to see if he was already on the ground? Y'all just keep shooting? After maybe the 5th shot, y'all were bored. Y'all just shooting for fun. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, I'm out. Subscribe. I don't know if I talked about the podcast. The podcast was out. Thanks for those who watched it. It's done really well on iTunes, by the way, so thank you for that. I think what I'm going to do is maybe like a week after I post the podcast, I'll actually post it on this channel as well. I'm just trying to also build my audience on the platforms that my podcast is on. So right now it's on SoundCloud and iTunes and Buzzsprout. It's supposed to be on Spotify. I don't know what Spotify is doing. They're tripping, but my album is on Spotify if you want to get that instead. Anyway, I'm out. Subscribe.